It's Abe Leno, AB positive. Coming at you live from Mill River area. A little honeybee right next to me. I'm gonna try to talk for more than just a minute or two. I'm trying to make it 6 minutes or 10 minutes or 60 minutes because I'm trying to figure out my thoughts, document my thoughts, maybe make a show called the ALX Files. So this may be the first episode of the ALX Files, a documentation of a man's descent into madness or an ascension into gnosis. But either way, a documentation of whatever the heck is happening. The story of Abe Leno, not Abraham Leno, who was a real guy from Sierra Leone, but Alexander Bleno, who goes by AB positive, because he's not positive. Not positive. But what is the ultimate positive? Admitting that you're not positive? Playing music instead of offing oneself? Doing something like this? Talking to a screen like an idiot? Trying to work on comedy? Being still negative, but not as negative? Forgive me. It's a little warm. It's weird weather. Oh, and I need a haircut. And you know, I'm not going to wait till I get a haircut, because if I get hit by a bus today, I'll regret not making this video. And haircuts, you know, are all about the culture. Gotta look right. All about cats and weed. Cats and weed's all you need. Maybe start this episode of Abe Original Outdoor Rants, ALX Files, whatever you call this. I'm going to play a song. Cats and weed is all that you need. Cats and weed is all that you need. Yeah, cats and weed. Give me that pussy please. Yeah, cats and weed. Yeah, it's all that you need. All you need. It's cats and weed. All you need is cats and weed. Cats and weed. I was writing that, but I can't remember the first verse. I was starting to think of the second verse. It goes, well, we'll have to go back to it. I obviously recorded it somewhere, so it's not lost. But it'll probably come back to me as soon as I stop making this video. So we were only supposed to do that intro. God's will. You know, lately I've been trying to trust and have faith. Let me tell you my story, in case I get hit by a bus, or whoever might take me out with my sign later today. But my story. I grew up in Norton, Massachusetts. My parents divorced early. My dad moved to Middleborough. In 5th grade, he moved to Florida. Try not to be the victim consciousness guy. Oh, I didn't have a dad. Hi, Dad. My dad's got Parkinson's right now. He's actually in Florida, but probably not comprehensive enough to see this. But maybe my brothers, my half-brothers, and my sister, my mother, and other people will see this and, you know, understand. I'm telling my story. So I grew up in Norton. I was a smart kid, had no real drive. The education system, I didn't want to be a nerd. I didn't want to be a dork. I hate the labels, but, you know, I was somewhat athletic, somewhat smart, somewhat this and that. But I fell into a bad crowd like any troubled youth, and, you know, got in a little trouble. They went off their way. Me and my friend kind of went off our way, smoking, drinking, but nothing too bad after a little bit of trouble in juvenile years. But like I said, the kids that we got in trouble with they were already on probation, so they went to juvie. You know who you are. Not bad people. But we went on probation. You know, grew up, ended up working. I dropped out of high school, working in kitchens. I always wanted to go to a new school, kind of reinvent myself, like my friend Mark was kind of referencing. A new kid comes in my school. I'm like, wow, he's cool. People like him. He's a new character. He can be whoever you want going to a new school. So I tried doing that when my mom moved to Rhode Island, and when I tried to go to Florida to visit my dad. And well, I didn't go to school, but I was, you know, fantasizing in my mind about being this new kid. But when I went to the new school in Rhode Island, the social anxiety aspects, everything, I didn't really talk much. I ended up just working, getting a job in the kitchen. So I'm a dropout. I do have a GED. I consider myself self-educated in internet stuff that's not real. So, you know, I have no intelligence. Just kidding. I try to learn. Today I met a guy at Walmart, signed his petitions, and he knew Whitney Webb. I referenced Yanis Varoufakis and technofeudalism. He knew, it's like he knew my stuff. He knew of that stuff. I knew of his stuff. I was like, I seen Whitney Webb. That's popped up. So, you know, I instantly started watching some of her stuff. And he said he's going to check my YouTube. So this isn't going on my YouTube. My other YouTube is A to the BLINO, W for those who don't know. But wait, that's my old YouTube. I have another one, Alexander Blino Live on YouTube. Alexander Blino Live on YouTube, BLINOW. And look at this, we're already at 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Should probably play a couple songs. We'll try to play a couple songs, and that's a good time filler. We'll tell jokes, and we'll listen to this bird over here. Ah! Yeah, it's like a cat bird. And I'm gonna go home, see the cats, hold my sign. But back to the story, the autobiographical story of Abe Lino. I grew up in Norton, Mass. I moved out to Chepachet because my mom met her boyfriend, my stepdad, you know, they have a house out there now, living in Gloucester, Rhode Island, Chepachet, you know, Rhode Island for a while. At about 20, 22, I moved back to the Bristol County area, you know, with my friend Seth. We got a place, and we got a couple places to move around. I have a place of my own. I had a place with my ex at one point, but I've always been in Taunton pretty much, Norton or Taunton, and at one point when I was in my early 20s, I got into some conspiracy stuff and, you know, held a sign, kind of, I think before it was more accepted. Got flipped off, got thumbs up, you know, whatever. But then I fell off of that because I heard that this guy was a Zionist shill. So I, you know, kind of got scared off for a bit. But now I have a free Palestine sign, and I plan on going to hold it. And I don't really like supporting one thing. I've been back to my spiritual path too. I at one point didn't really believe in anything spiritual. I think through cannabis and psychedelics I've somewhat believed. You know, as a kid, I think I was more rational. I dropped out of CCD. I thought in CCD, why are all these people in China going to hell? But, you know, later, you know, through some of the stuff, I'm realizing I'm about to try to do some Tai Chi after this. And, you know, there's probably some connection, some great spirit, and there's some meaning to life. So, you know, not to be like poor me, but I did have a rare disease. I was anemic for a long time. Since at least 30-something, 35 or something, they figured it out at 37, 38. I had Whipple's disease. Whipple's. It's not Whipple's procedure, but Whipple's disease. And I was anemic, but then it got really bad in 2023 where I got worse and lost a lot of weight. I know I'm already ashamed, but I got really wasted away and my blood work got bad. So I went in the hospital for 8 days, got out with a PICC line, and next thing you know, I haven't gotten worse since. I've gotten better only. So now it's kind of different with my mind, trying to contain this energy that I have. So I ride my bike, I play footbag, I play soccer, whatever I can do, and try to make these videos to stay sane. But so yeah, I had the Whipples, and then coming back into my health, I lost my job when I was in the hospital. The owner said my performance was bad. I said, hey man, I was sick, you know, but Not trying to feel bad for myself, but things happen that put me on the path that I'm on. Now I'm at a new job, and it's very similar to the Holiday Inn that I used to work at in younger days. I was a banquet place and I cook, and when I started, I was a little bit apprehensive to show my true self, but knowing the 4 agreements and things like that, I want to be genuine. I have promoted my YouTube and sold hacky sacks, and today, if anyone in Taunton State received a hacky sack, you know who did it. So if anyone commandeered a hacky sack, well, shame on you. But anyway, I just want to say I returned a wallet today, and I may have given out a hacky sack, allegedly, hypothetically, in a fantasy novel that I'm working on. That's a story where I go down and I give them a hacky sack in a fantasy novel. But anyway, hack heels. But what am I saying? I'm talking about the story now. I'm 39 and a half, almost, or it's about September 2025. I've been trying to do some exercise like calisthenics, and I've been trying not to eat meat. Heard Christspiracy and all that stuff, and intrigues me. I might have to. I might end up eating meat. My body weight's low. I don't want to make excuses, but I'm a picky eater. But I'm trying to impact things less, be less wasteful, less consumption, bring more awareness. I struggle a lot. I go get depressed. I wish I had a girlfriend. Everyone looks at me weird. People value money, status. I have to limit my own judgments of other people's limiting beliefs or judgments or valuing status of whatever, and understand everything has a place in the universe. Just gonna sit here, get stoned, and play my guitar and collect myself before I go do my thing later for a little bit. But I don't know where I'm gonna do it. I'm thinking the normies will be out of work around 4 or 5, so I'll get out there by then. And I guess I should play a song, and we'll probably bring it to about 15 minutes. 15 seems pretty good. There's gotta be something else I want to talk about. Maybe Sasquatch or Puckwudgies. Save that for the ALX files. But I don't know if I'm gonna get that show on public access. They reached out again, whatever. But I am trying to talk about Zionism and Israel, and the fact that, we need to bring awareness to what Zionism is, what American tax dollars do, and the children that are dying in Gaza. Because, and it's our tax dollars that are doing this thing. But at the same time, don't let it bug you. Come out, do something to connect. People in Palestine laugh. And someone visited once, and they said, I was shocked to hear laughter. What do you think life is? Do you think life's just constantly going to be held down? No, life is constantly going to rise up. So, no matter what, I think people are going to laugh, no matter how bad it is, because they're going to see a little bit of silver lining, the light. Rise up, open your mind, stop giving a what? Stop giving a fuck. See through the lies. I'll catch you next time. Abe Leno. A be positive. A to the BLINO. W for those who don't know. skills ridiculous. I take a rhyme every time I take a Buddha rip. You wanna battle me? Please, I ain't that competitive. The music give me therapy better than any medicine. I'm crazy like the president, but people don't wanna shoot me. The revolutionaries in the streets simply salute me. As I ride by with my fist up in the sky, screaming out, live free and die, fight the power, now's the time. I dream a never-ending sea of people storming, not conforming to the broken way, stuck on the bottom like a slave. Every day you can see the misery, so tell me where the fuck is the equality? Rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. My style is unique like a freak of nature. I'll break you off a piece that elevates and takes you to a place where the stress and pain are all pleasant. Illuminate strings that bind us together, twist of fate. Make a way through the puzzle, minds will fuddle. The signs are very subtle. Let your light shine bright through the dark, stormy night. I'll hold on tight and be alright. I'll love ride till the day I die. Don't ask why. Open your mind at the time before the planets align. The power within can make us free again. To lose your enemies and start making friends. Rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. Break it down, make the walls start crumbling. My rhymes like thunder, when I strike it better start running. Electrify the mic with hype insight. I stupefy the drone when I get in the zone. You know my mind ain't right, so I constantly write rhymes to satisfy my soul and connect with the divine. On to break free from the mental prison we're living, or else we're all doomed in a world of division. Yeah, wake up and smell the stench is quite hellish. The whole culture's so they gotta fight and repel it. You don't stop till your body drops like a shell. Oh well, then there's a heaven when your whole life is suffering. Rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, open your mind, stop giving a fuck and see through the lies. Yeah, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up.